Hello everyone, so this is a supplementary guide on how to install or enable Windows Subsystem for Linux if you're a Windows user. So what you can do is you can find Control Panel to enable Subsystem. You can then you go to the Programs, and under Programs and Features, you need to click on this Turn Windows Features On or Off. Now if you click on this, at the very bottom of this prompt, you'll see Windows Subsystem for Linux. Just have to check this off. I go check mark this, and it's going to ask you, so I already have Subsystem enabled on my computer, so it's not asking me to restart. But if it's your first time enabling it, it's going to ask you to restart your computer. So just restart the computer quickly, and now you'll have Subsystem enabled. So how to use Subsystem now that you've got enabled, you need to have Ubuntu terminal downloaded. So if you go to Microsoft Store and type in Ubuntu, the first thing that pops up, Canonical Group Limited. So this is exactly the same as you'd see here, but this is an ISO image, so it's like installing actual like operating system, whereas this is more of a terminal that allows you to use it on Windows. So install this guy on your computer. Again, I already have it installed, so it's already available. I don't have to install it again. So now that we've installed Ubuntu, we're just gonna search for it. And so if this is your first time opening it up, it's going to ask you to set up your username and a password for a super user ability. You need super user account to install or remove any programs, because that's like giving an admin privilege as if you are on. Okay, so just simple process. The only difference between Linux machine and Windows Subsystem is that folder structure is a bit more complicated in Windows Subsystem. So right now, let's print out our current directory. So if you go into the root directory, I have my, so here, Linux terminal. I'll open up the Linux terminal. Hey, if you press Control Shift and plus sign together, you can increase the font size. So here on Linux, this is how your program looks. If you are a root user in Windows Subsystem, this is how your folder structure looks. So they look very similar. The only difference is that if you want to get to your, let's say this intro to bash folder on our desktop, to do that, you have to get into your C drive, but that's mounted on your system. So we're in our desktop folder, and you just have to go into intro to bash. So here, same thing on Linux machine. If you have intro to bash on your desktop, to get to that folder, you have to, instead you're going to use home, your username, and desktop instead of mount, because there's nothing mounted on this Linux machine. And then you go into your intro to bash folder. So if you print your current working directory, you can see the difference here. So it's a bit longer, whereas on Linux machine, It's just four four folders you have to get into. Otherwise, everything is very similar. So really, that's how you set up a subsystem for Linux on Windows.